Destructive jealousy, the root of control. Why would someone who claims to love you actively try to destroy your happiness and success? It's a question that haunts many people trapped in relationships with narcissists. You achieve something wonderful, a promotion, an accomplishment, even just a moment of joy, and instead of celebration, you face subtle undermining, criticism, or sudden drama that steals your moment. This isn't normal jealousy. Most people feel occasional pangs of envy when someone has something they want, but they still feel genuine happiness for those they care about. A friend might feel a twinge of jealousy about your new job while still being truly excited for your success. A partner might wish they had your natural talents while still proudly supporting your achievements. Narcissists experience jealousy differently. Their jealousy runs deeper and darker than normal insecurity. When you succeed or feel happy, they feel threatened by your positive experience. Your joy, accomplishment, or recognition feels like a direct attack on their sense of superiority. In their mind, your rise somehow means their fall. This threatening feeling triggers intense jealousy that quickly transforms into the need to control, diminish, or destroy whatever makes you shine. They can't stand to see you elevated because it challenges their position at the center of the universe. Your happiness becomes something that must be eliminated rather than celebrated. Their destructive jealousy operates like a dimmer switch, gradually lowering the light on your achievements until the room is dark enough for them to be the brightest presence. Initially, you might notice subtle reactions, dismissive comments when you share good news, immediately changing the subject, pointing out potential problems with your success, or bringing up their own achievements to overshadow yours. These small reactions chip away at your joy until you learn not to share your happiness with them. As the relationship progresses, the sabotage intensifies. They create crises before your important presentations, pick fights on the morning of your job interview, or forget to pass along important information you need. These aren't coincidences. They're calculated attempts to ensure you don't outshine them. A telling sign of this destructive jealousy is their inability to genuinely celebrate your achievements. They might offer a stiff congratulations or forced smile, but something feels off. Their eyes don't match their words. They quickly pivot the conversation to themselves or diminish your accomplishment with comments like, "Anyone could have done that with your advantages," or "It's not that big a deal." This reaction stems from their zero-sum thinking about success and happiness. In their worldview, there's only so much success and joy available. If you're getting some, that means less for them. They cannot comprehend that in healthy relationships, joy multiplies when shared. The methods narcissists use to undermine you are remarkably effective. They plant seeds of doubt with seemingly caring comments. "Are you sure you're ready for that responsibility?" They sabotage your support network by sharing concerns about your friends. "I noticed Sarah seemed annoyed with you." These tactics isolate you and erode your self-confidence, making you increasingly dependent on the narcissist for validation. Comparison serves as a powerful tool in their arsenal. They constantly measure you against others or themselves, ensuring you always come up short. "Jane's presentation was so much more polished than yours," or "When I was your age, I had accomplished much more." These comparisons keep you feeling inadequate and striving for approval you'll never fully receive. This constant competition reveals the truth about narcissistic jealousy. It stems from profound insecurity. Behind their grandiose exterior lies a deeply wounded sense of self, requiring constant validation. Your success threatens their carefully constructed facade of superiority. Your happiness reminds them of their emotional emptiness. Your healthy relationships highlight their inability to connect genuinely with others. Every achievement you celebrate, every moment of joy you experience, holds up a mirror to what they lack. Rather than using your example as inspiration, they feel compelled to shatter the mirror by destroying what you have. Their jealousy exposes their emptiness. Secure people with healthy self-worth can celebrate others because they don't need to be superior to feel worthy. They understand that another person's light doesn't dim their own. Narcissists, lacking this internal security, must constantly prove their superiority by diminishing others. Narcissists often target empathetic people because such targets offer several advantages. Your empathy makes you more likely to try understanding their jealousy rather than recognizing it as abuse. You naturally look for wounds behind their behavior and try to heal them. You make excuses, and your compassion keeps you engaged in trying to fix a problem that isn't yours to solve. Your empathy also makes you reluctant to celebrate yourself in ways that might make others feel bad. When they show discomfort at your success, you tone down your joy. You become smaller to avoid triggering their jealousy, exactly as they intended. These jealousy-driven behaviors create a toxic environment where you hide your successes, downplay your happiness, and isolate from people who celebrate you. You start living smaller to avoid triggering their insecurity. You might even begin sabotaging your own opportunities because the punishment for success isn't worth the achievement. This environment slowly transforms once confident people into shadows of themselves. Your diminishment becomes their elevation. Your increasing self-doubt reinforces their sense of superiority. Your isolation makes you more dependent on them for validation. The most painful aspect of this destructive jealousy is how it specifically targets what makes you uniquely yourself, your talents, passions, and joys. They seek to extinguish exactly what makes you shine most brightly. This isn't accidental, it's a calculated strategy to dim your light, so theirs appears brighter by comparison. Sexual manipulation, the ultimate control tool. What happens when intimacy becomes a weapon instead of a connection? Imagine looking forward to being close with your partner, only to realize they're using this vulnerability against you. In healthy relationships, physical intimacy creates bonds of trust and affection. With narcissists, it transforms into a calculated tool for control. Sex and intimacy should bring couples closer. They should make you feel valued, desired, and connected. But narcissists view these experiences differently. For them, physical intimacy serves as a means for power, control, and manipulation rather than mutual pleasure or emotional connection. The shift happens gradually. Initially, the narcissist appears passionate and attentive to your needs. The physical connection feels amazing, perhaps surpassing previous experiences. They seem perfectly attuned to your desires, making you feel intensely wanted. This initial phase creates a powerful bond that becomes difficult to break later. This early sexual intensity serves a strategic purpose. It establishes a standard of pleasure and connection you naturally want to maintain. Your brain releases bonding hormones like oxytocin during these encounters, creating a physical attachment to someone who will eventually use this connection against you. As the relationship progresses, the dynamics change. Physical affection becomes inconsistent. One day they can't keep their hands off you. The next they act completely disinterested, or even repulsed. You find yourself working harder to recapture that initial passion, questioning what you did wrong. Imagine planning a special evening together, spending hours preparing, only to have your partner look at you with cold disinterest when you reach for them. When you ask what's wrong, they respond, "Nothing. I'm just not in the mood." Yet hours earlier they were affectionate and passionate. This roller coaster of connection and rejection leaves you disoriented and desperate to regain closeness. This pattern exemplifies how narcissists employ intermittent reinforcement in physical intimacy. Like a gambling addiction, when rewards come unpredictably, we become more fixated on them than if they came consistently. Our brains continuously seek that dopamine release, that pleasure that now seems just beyond reach. The narcissist might be passionate one day, then completely withdraw physical affection the next, without explanation. You never know which version of your partner you'll encounter: the passionate lover who makes you feel incredible, or the cold, distant person who acts repulsed by your touch. This unpredictability creates anxiety and dependency as you struggle to earn back their affection. The pattern of idealization and devaluation manifests clearly in physical intimacy. During idealization, Narcissists treat you like the most desirable person alive. They compliment your body, seem addicted to your touch, and make you feel completely wanted. Then suddenly, devaluation begins. They might criticize your appearance or performance, compare you unfavorably to past partners, or display obvious disinterest or disgust. This cycle creates profound confusion and insecurity. The memory of feeling desired makes the rejection even more painful. You work harder to regain their approval, giving the narcissist exactly what they want. You're increasing effort and attention while they offer less and less. Narcissists often use sex as punishment and reward. They quickly learn that withholding physical affection causes you distress, while granting it brings relief and happiness. If you've set a boundary or not given them enough attention, they might withhold intimacy as punishment. If you've complied with their demands or sufficiently fed their ego, they reward you with affection. Over time, this creates a system where you modify your behavior to earn physical connection. You become increasingly careful not to upset them. You prioritize their needs above your own. You accept disrespect to avoid rejection. Your desire for connection becomes the control mechanism they wield. Sexual triangulation represents another powerful control tactic. Narcissists frequently introduce a third party, either real or imagined, to create competition for their attention. They might mention attractive people, discuss past sexual encounters in uncomfortable detail, flirt with others in your presence, or maintain inappropriate relationships. By keeping you in a state of jealousy and insecurity, they ensure you're constantly working to prove your worth. You try harder to be sexually appealing. You accept behavior you wouldn't normally tolerate. You compete for attention that should be freely given in a committed relationship. These sexual manipulation tactics directly connect to the narcissist's need for power and dominance. Your vulnerability during intimate moments gives them access to your deepest insecurities, which they carefully note for future use. The damage extends beyond the behaviors themselves. Many survivors report feeling disconnected from their sexuality after narcissistic relationships. Intimacy becomes associated with manipulation rather than joy. Trust in your own desires diminishes. Shame emerges about what you accepted in your hunger for connection. Understanding these patterns explains why these relationships feel so confusing. What appeared as passionate love was actually orchestrated control. The inconsistency that kept you walking on eggshells was a deliberate strategy to keep you unbalanced and working for approval. These patterns create the perfect conditions for trauma bonding, a powerful attachment that keeps you connected to someone who hurts you. Your brain begins to associate the pain of rejection with the relief of reconciliation, creating addiction-like patterns that make leaving extremely difficult.